Livier Mendoza. I am a daughter, I am a sister, a friend, and I am a woman with same-gender attraction. But above all of those things, I am a child of God. And I thought it was very important for me to share my story because I wish when I realized that I had these feelings, someone had done that for me. I wasn't a member of the church my whole life. I grew up in a Catholic family, raised by amazing and loving parents that always taught me. I was ashamed of how I felt, even at an early age, and I tried to overcompensate that secret with getting the best grades, with going to a lot of competitions, with being involved with sports, with theater, with different clubs in my school. And I never told anyone how I felt. I wanted to be this strong woman that could be an example for others, but most of all, someone that wouldn't let down her parents and her family. Your family is something that's always with you. If you're a woman, at least in the way that I was raised, you're not gonna leave your house until you're getting married to a man. And knowing that I had those feelings, that I look at my friends different, it just brought a lot of confusion to me. And as the years went by, I just didn't talk about it, not even with myself. I wouldn't even think about how I felt. And then I met the missionaries when I was around 21 years old. So when the missionaries found me and they explained all the commandments and the law of chastity, it was actually a very easy choice for me because I thought I was gonna be single forever. I thought I was just gonna be this successful attorney that didn't have to care about having a family or having kids or anything like that. So why would I focus on my attraction to women if it wasn't even on my plans to have a family? So I decided to get baptized, but I had this feeling that the real reason that I wanted to be baptized was because I had to serve a mission. As I started learning more about the goals that we have as members of the church, the eternal goals that we have, it just became heavier, the secret that I had. And I knew that my priorities and my goals had to change. And I started thinking about having a family and how that would look like, and if I was gonna have kids. And even though I never told anyone, I was so scared to go on dates because then it was like, do I tell them? And if I tell them, how do I tell them? What do I say? How are they gonna react? So as a stubborn Mexican girl, I went back to my path and my goals. I was like, let's forget about that. Let's just try to be a missionary. And there were a lot of things happening in my life that prevented me from doing it. And I just gave up on that dream. And I was like, if I'm not gonna be a missionary, why am I even in this church? And I left the church for a couple of months. I started going back into my life before the church. I started drinking again and consuming drugs. And in my mind, I felt that if at some point I decided to tell my parents, they would be more open for me to be taking drugs or alcohol than to me being attracted to women. I knew that I was missing out on feeling the Spirit. I knew that I wanted to be back in church and that I had to serve a mission. I didn't understand why that was my goal, but I had to make a decision. So I went back to church. I talked to my bishop and I told him, this is what I've been doing. Don't worry, like, besides the word of wisdom, I haven't broke any other commandments. I haven't broke the law of chastity. I would go on dates with women, and I didn't tell him that because we didn't have that strong relationship and he didn't know the background. But in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm just going on dates. We're not kissing. We're not doing anything else, so it's fine. And we started working on my process to serve a mission. And because of the things that were going on and how hard it was and me coming back, I started to feel discouraged again. And I started dating a guy that on paper was amazing. And even though I wasn't attracted to him, it was like, this is perfect, because then I can serve my mission, eventually come back, get married to him. He was a person of faith, even though he wasn't a member of the church. And as the time went by and the weeks and the months, he started being abusive with me. Emotionally, economically, like I wasn't even allowed to tell people that we were dating. I truly felt that I deserved that I was broken, and that he was a hero because he was taking on this woman that wasn't worthy. Feeling that way really took me away from what the missionaries had taught me. And it got to a level in which I couldn't take it anymore. And I knew that I had to do something. So we broke up, and I finally submitted my papers. And after I got my calling, I started getting these feelings of fear. What's gonna happen when I'm 24/7 with a woman? How am I gonna react? What if I fall in love? What if I start having feelings for them and that distracts me from serving my Savior and serving my fellow man? And I prayed, and it's funny because in one of my prayers, I told the Lord, like, please just bless me with ugly companions. It was very interesting that when I got on my mission, it was like this switch just was turned off. And I was like, this is going to be fine. This is going to be perfect. The Lord is allowing me to fulfill my goal and serve a mission and heal myself. And I felt like the only way for me to heal was to actually follow the path of my Savior and give everything that I had to the people that I was going to meet on my mission. And I had a lot of conversations with my mission president in which he would tell me, sister, you're a great missionary, but you would be even better if you let people see who you are, if you let them see that you're vulnerable. And in my mind, every time he would say that, I was like, if you only knew what you're asking me to do. I continued, I served, I finished with honor. I went home. I was able to tell everyone I made it. I had this goal, and I totally was going to do it, even when people thought I was going to be sent home 3 months after I got on the field. But I still had like that feeling that I needed to come clean. And I did what the adversary does. And I took away from them the option to actually make a decision and express how they felt. I decided how my family and my friends and my leaders were gonna feel, and I stuck with it. And I left. As I moved here and I started attending YSA Words and feeling the pressure that there's a reason that I'm single, and I know the reason, but I don't want to tell you the reason. It was December. It was snowing like crazy. And I decided to call one of my mission friends. And I just called her and told her, hey, I need you to come to my house, like right away. And she didn't even ask me what was going on. She just told me how long it would take her to get there. And as I was waiting for her, I was just thinking that I just wanted to give up. I opened the door of my house, and there she was standing in the storm with a pizza on one of her hands, soda and chips on the other hand. And before I said hi or thank you for coming or anything, I was just like, I'm attracted to women. And she looks at me and she's like, I like warm pizza. Can I come in? I started telling her how I felt and how I really wanted to make it work, and I really wanted to have this family and be a princess and get sealed in the temple, and how I had given up a lot of things in my life to be a member of the church and to serve a mission, but that I felt lost and that I didn't know what to do or where to go or who else to date. And I was just looking for hope. And she told me that her brother was transgender and that he was working with this organization called North Star that provided tools to the LGBTQ community within the church to be able to be faithful and to follow the commandments and build relationships that would help them have that support. And I was like, I'm ready. I need to tell people. I need to start doing this. And I decided to send a message to the people from my mission. And I decided in that moment that it was my story, that I owned that story, and that it was my decision to share it. And as those messages started coming, and it felt like it was like 10 negatives, one good one, 10 negatives, one good one. They started like piling up. And I started wondering, why did I do it? I should have been obedient and kept it to myself. But then I got one message from a girl that we taught while I was on my mission, who had been inactive for years, and that I was very close to her family. And she told me that when we met her, she had tried to commit suicide. And it wasn't her first time. And the reason that she felt that way was because she was also attracted to women. She knew that her mom would understand that she was not the only one going through that. I know that all the experiences that we go through in this life might not make sense in the moment that we're living them, but at some point, He will let us see that lesson that He wanted us to see. I reached out to another friend from my mission, another sister, and I sent her this huge text just telling her, I give up. I'm not going back to church. I had to serve a mission. I did it. There was a reason for it. I completed it. It's over. She did what she thought was best, and she reached out to our mission president and told him what was going on. And he called me, and he just told me, do you need me to go? Do you need me to go visit you? And I was like, no, I know you're a very busy man. And he did it. He just went to my house, came to Utah, went to my house. He gave me a blessing. I can say that that blessing has changed my life. I haven't been inactive since I got that blessing from my mission president. And there was something in particular that he said about how the Lord was working in me to be strong and to help others, that I knew that it wasn't about me and that it had never been about me. It was about those around me that needed to hear my voice. Those that needed that light that my Savior had given me. When I was able to understand that, I was able to see for the first time, to feel the love of my Savior, and to be able to love myself.